All right, so here's the training I promised you. I am going to show you exactly how I plan to modify this coaching client acquisition funnel. The templated one that I did inside of the training was just kind of one that I threw together, but this funnel is actually the one that I personally use when I'm looking to book one-on-one clients. So I send them to the first page, which is sharing a case study of one of my clients. Then I send them to the next page that has the actual case study video. Then they, from there, can choose to click over to the next page, and if they choose to apply, then they do the application, and from that page, I have a final page that redirects them to my booking system. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do for that last page, and I'm going to show you those individual steps. But the first thing that you're going to do is use the link that I'm providing to upload this into your ClickFunnels account. So that's what I've done so far, and you notice that it says the share funnel has been processed, it's complete, and I can view the funnel. I always start with the exact same thing when I am modifying a funnel that someone has shared with me. The first thing that I do is I click into the settings tab, and I make sure that I change the group tag. So for me, whenever I get a shared funnel, I put it under my shared funnel links. But if I'm ready to put it under and group it under a different group, then I'll go ahead and change that there. I will change the name. So for this one, since I'm sharing this with you all, I'm going to make sure it's a different name than the one that's already in my account. So I'm just going to call this Coaching Client Acquisition Share Funnel. So basically you're acquiring coaching clients. Okay, from here you can change the path, and usually what you get is a lot of letters and numbers, and it's not as clean as it could be. So what I like to do is erase all of those extra letters and numbers, and once again I'm just going to make sure that it's not the same as the one I already have, so I'm just going to type share in there. You could erase this completely, you could just put a 1, it doesn't really matter what you choose for that path there. This is just going to be the path for the actual funnel. So when you copy this URL that's up here and you paste it to go to a new tab, that's what it's going to say. So it's going to say the name of your account, and then it's going to have the path here. So if I don't want that to say coaching client acquisition funnel, if I want it to just say apply, something like that, then I would just change this path right here to where it just says apply. Okay, so that's what that does there. Then you'll choose your domain in the drop down. If you haven't already added a custom domain, you definitely want to do that. It just makes your funnels look a lot more professional, so they don't look like they're on the same website and domain as everyone else's, because everyone else has the .clickfunnels.com. So I would recommend that you add your custom domain. If you're not sure how to add a custom domain, all you have to do is click over to the help docs and then type custom domain. So let me show you exactly where that is. Right here where it says in the middle, custom domain. It's very easy to set up. There are pictures, they're step by step. If you literally just follow each individual step, it will share with you how to set up your custom domain. It's very simple. Okay, so now we're going back to this. So I'm going to close out this old one so I don't change that one. And if you do not have an SMTP set up, then you won't have anything to choose for this drop down. It's not necessary because you are not necessarily sending any emails, so you don't need an SMTP configuration. Okay, just turning the air off there. And the favicon is what shows up in the URL bar. So for example, when you have your web page show up, if you want it to have your image, then that's where you'll put this there. That's pretty much all you need to change. The other thing I would add is I would go ahead and add your Facebook pixel code here, as well as your Google Analytics code. So that way you have your cookie set, because later you're going to be able to use that to not only retarget, you can create little short videos to say, hey, I noticed that you came to the application page, but you never booked your call, and you have a lot of power there when you know the steps that people have taken. And I'll explain a little bit more later about how you can do that. So that's basically all I fill in on this page. So I will go down and save and update the settings for this. Notice when I click this link to visit the funnel URL, all of a sudden it changes. So why does it change? Well, it changes because we have two different options here. Remember that I said that the reason that I like using ClickFunnels is that I can easily create a split test. Well, that's essentially what this is. So ClickFunnels is going to create two different pages, and then it's going to direct traffic to one or the other. And as it directs traffic to each page, as it has a variation, it's going to determine which page has better stats. So remember, when we're trying to figure out that data, we're trying to figure out which is better. Well, we need stats, we need data. And so ClickFunnels is going to do all of that for you. It's going to tell you, hey, this page actually converts better than the other page. Okay. So at this point, I don't necessarily want two pages that look completely different. I actually just set up the second page because I want to, I don't want to use this older page. So I'm going to use one of these newer templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open that back up, because what I want to do is I want to essentially copy and paste all of this into the new version. So I'm going to go and click to edit this page. Now, as I'm editing this and when I make changes, you will actually get, when you get the share funnel, you'll see all of the changes that I've made. Okay, I'm going to leave this logo here. This is just an image, and you can take this image out if you want, or if you want to, you can add your own image. So for example, if you already have a logo saved, which I've got logos saved under my account. So let me find my Letitia Styles logo. So I could add that logo there. And if I think it's too big, I just click settings, and then I can change the width, and that will make it smaller. If you change the width and the height and it's not the same aspect ratio as your original image, you might see it stretch. So that's why I usually just change the width if I want the image to look different. Okay, so I'm going to set this back to the original so that you don't get the share funnel with my logo in there. Then what I want to do is we're sharing a video, okay? We're sharing a case study video. The case study video is going to be how I booked 4 clients in one day using live streaming. And I'm actually going to change this to how he booked 4 clients, because this is about my client. Okay. And it's not necessary to change every individual thing. So for example, if you don't want this at the top, you can just delete it and get rid of it. I'm going to leave that there in case you'd like to change it. And remembering that you can shift and change the colors to match your brand colors. So for example, if I wanted to change everything to pink, well, I absolutely have the power to do that. If I want to change it to teal or blue, I can do that as well. Okay, so just remember that you have a lot of flexibility in here when you go to edit your information. Okay, for here I want to say watch this case study video. And it looks like what this is doing is it's going to open the pop-up. So before I move on, I want to make sure I don't forget any of this. So I'm going to go back to the settings tab, and the first thing I want to change is the SEO metadata. So normally when you choose to create a new page, the default page is going to say something like my happy ClickFunnels page or something like that, my awesome landing page. So I want to make sure I change this to what it is, which is a case study video. So I might say something like case study reveals how he booked 4 clients in one day using live streaming. Okay, and maybe I'll just say how he booked 4 clients in one day. If you're not sure what to put in the description, I would recommend just copying and pasting. Okay, so what I'm going to do once again is I'm going to erase out my content. But just make sure that you do come in here and you change this up. Add your keywords, change your author name. Okay, obviously you don't want this to say Christian Cisneros. So I'm just going to type case study in here. Just remember to change that, because what happens is when you share it on Facebook or on social media, it's going to pull this information in right here. You also should choose a social image. And once again, that should be something that's already in your account. Maybe you have a graphic that you've already created, and that's what will be shared when you share this on social. Okay, so I will remove that out. So that's the first thing, your SEO metadata. Actually, we'll go back to this one too. We want to go into the integrations, and we want to send these people into our email autoresponder. Depending on what you're using, this could be a little bit different. I personally use ConvertKit. I've also used Actionetics in the past. I switched my email list over to ConvertKit. I really, really like using them. And so what I would do is I would just choose ConvertKit, choose the subscribe to a form, and then choose the form that I want to add them to. So in my example, I actually have a one-on-one coaching form, so I can send people who sign up on this page into my one-on-one coaching form. Okay, so I'm going to remove that out. Then we're going to go into the typography page. And this is just where you can set your font and your main colors. So you can set your content font, your headline font, and your colors for your page. Okay. And finally, let's check the background, because I think this section right here has a background, but let's see. Okay, there is a background image. Yep, and that's the background image. So if you want to change that image there, then you can just choose an image. I think the one that they have here is one that they grabbed from Unsplash. So we'll just see if we can put it back in there. Okay. I'm not sure if that's still working in there, but that's fine. You can always just exit out. If you happen to do something that you don't like, just keep saving it until the moment that you realize that you messed something up. Then all you have to do is reload. So there's the image, it's back there. And I actually hadn't saved much. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to redo some of those things that I missed. Okay, so I'm going to save that there. And then remembering that all of these things you can change yourself. Okay, so this is simply an image. They've got this at the hover action, opens it up wider. But remember that all you have to do in order to edit these individual items is just click it. Okay, so you can say, once again, watch this case study video now. And then if you want to change the background of this, you just click the settings for that and then change the background there. Now this one, it looks like they have two backgrounds, one in this first column and then one in the second column. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to columns and start hovering over the items. You'll notice that the blue outline hovers over each item. So we found it here and we're going to click right in there. All right, it looks like this actually doesn't have a background color. So the next place that I check is the background for the entire page. That background is not dark either. So, let's see what we've got going on here. That does not have a background. That does not have a background. There's a section that I couldn't find. Okay, so this is actually in a section. So we're just going to click Manage Sections, and we're going to hover until we find the section that we're looking for. Okay, and that is going to be this one right here. It might be the one above it. Let's try this again. There it is. there's the background color. So if you want to change that background color, you would do it right in here. Okay. And then once again, if you want to change the color of this button, you just click the element and then you can change the background color for this button right there. All right. Now that's the thing that I really like about ClickFunnels, is that it's not really that difficult to figure out, and it's really not that difficult it's not that difficult to figure it out, and it's really hard to break it. Okay, you really can't break it. Just click save when you've done the things that you want to do, and then just keep working through it. And if you mess something up, just don't save it and then refresh, and that way you won't have to worry about making any changes. I'm also going to show you where you can go if you ever need to back up just a little bit, and essentially it's your undo button. All right, so let's see if I can grab some of these things from this page. All right, what you're going to learn. Now this is just a checkbox element. So it's very similar to this other one that I have here. So all I'm going to do is just copy and paste here. All right, I don't have 6 bullet points, but for the sake of this, I'm not going to change it because you might have 6 bullet points. So I'm just going to leave that there. But remember, all you have to do is click, type to make your change. All right, and then here you can say about, change your about page. So I would put your photo here, and that's kind of how I have it down here. I said, hi, I'm Letitia. I'm a digital marketing consultant. I'd love to show you how I do it. Yes, show me the video. Okay, so that's what I would do here. I would make sure to put a photo of you. Then you're going to make your edits here at the bottom, changing up the terms and conditions and the privacy policy. You'll go ahead and add your links in there. Okay, click in here, change it up to your company name. Once again, all you really have to do is click and make the change and then save it. And that's exactly how I would edit this. So I would edit this to change up with my photos. The image I would change here, I might make this either a photo of me. I might make this similar to what I have already, which is something that looks like the video image. So I created an image where when you click it, it activates the pop-up. So I might do something like that also. You can easily create that using Canva or PicMonkey or any other graphics editing tool. So that's really simple to create. So I might go ahead and create something like that. If I were to do that and maybe I needed this section to be a little bit wider, well, maybe I would drag it out like that just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to drag it back to the original. Just remember that you can make any of the changes that you like on here. So I'm going to save that. And then I always like to, after I save, double check and make sure that it looks good on the mobile version. So for example, I noticed that this doesn't really look good on mobile. So what I might do, and the other button to open the pop-up is right there. So what I might do is I might look at that section and I might say, give me this section on desktop only. So this section, I would click down here and say desktop only. Now you notice that there's a red ring around here, and when we check it in mobile, well, now that section is no longer there because it's desktop only. And I'm going to go ahead and save that because I think that's going to be beneficial for anyone who is using this as a share funnel. Obviously, you can always change it back if you'd like, but remembering the fact that this section, the way they have this going, it doesn't really look good on mobile. The rest of it does, and so we're fine with that. We'll leave these sections up. But the other section, we don't need that section on mobile. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. And we'll exit out of that. So that's page 1. Now, in order to get rid of this page, all I've got to do is declare this second page as the winner. Now, remembering that when you do a split test, obviously you want to wait for data, but for me, I'm creating this as a share funnel, so I'm not going to wait on data. Now, if you notice, the nice pretty link that I had has now disappeared. Well, it disappeared with this first page that I just archived. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to this publishing tab, and I'm going to rename this as Coaching Client Case Study. And then I'm going to update that. And now we notice our pretty link is back again. The other thing that I like to do is I also like to change it here on this gear where it says edit split page settings. And so I like to say once again here, Coaching Client Case Study. Now remember that I mentioned that you could restore versions. Well, here's how you can kind of click undo. So I saved about 4 times, and here are the 4 saves. So if I ever want to go back, I can go back in time as far as I'd like. And in this case, it would go back only about 8 minutes. And then I can click restore, and then I would get the page without the changes that I've made. Okay, so that's how you essentially click the update button. I'm sorry, not the update, the undo button. Okay, so now that they said that they want to watch the case study, and actually I need to check one more thing because I believe when they click the button, it opens a pop-up. So let's check the pop-up. Okay, great. I kind of like this pop-up. There's a couple different things to remember. Sometimes pop-ups don't work well on mobile, and sometimes they're difficult to see. So let's look at mobile and see what this pop-up looks like. All right, looks like the pop-up is going to be fine on mobile. I would definitely double check it by sending yourself the link to this page using that same the same way we did it earlier, just to double check. So it looks like they have a survey element, and you can change the text once again just by typing and copying, pasting, deleting inside of there. Okay. What they're doing here is they're essentially sectioning out their audience. So you might do this survey element to say, hey, which best describes you? I don't have a website yet. I have a website, but it looks ugly. I'm working on my website. So if you find that the clients that work best with you are a specific type of client, and maybe you want to know kind of that first question, then definitely use this survey element. In order to edit it, once again, all you have to do is click it, and you can click Edit Survey Options, and you'll notice that there's just one question here, and there are the answers to the questions. What's really cool about this is that you can either say that this, if they choose this answer, they'll go to the next question, or if they choose this answer, they can end the survey. So you have the power to do that. Now, the survey element, I want to say, is probably a little bit more advanced because it also gives you the option to create some default outcomes. So if they answer something that maybe you don't want, if they say that, they're not the type of client that you want to work with, maybe you want to forward them to a different page, or maybe you want to set some sort of trigger. So I think it's a little bit of an advanced option. And if you ever want to get rid of it, you can just delete it, or you can hide it just like that. So you notice I just hit it. I just hit that eyeball, and that just toggled it off. If you ever want to bring it back, you just go to Elements and then unhide it just like that. Okay. So this is what their pop-up looks like. I'm not going to change any of that because I think that looks fine. Once again, you can always change the color for the button and work on the page that way. So because I didn't make any changes, I'm going to exit without saving. And now I want to test this page. So I want to look at it myself. So all I did was I came to this link and I clicked this arrow to go check it out. And I want to scroll through it to see what it looks like. I want to click, check the pop-up. I see that I've got the survey here. Then I click continue, and then it gives me the option to put my name in. So once again, I kind of like that. I think it's a little bit advanced, but if you can think of your survey and how to segment your audience, then it's going to be very powerful for you. All right, so we're good on that page. So now what happens is we head over to the thank you page. And the thank you page is simply our way of giving them the survey that they requested. Giving them the case study that they requested, and then inviting them to work with us. So this is the old page that I had. It's very simple. It was just the case study and the video. And I think after I had a timer set so that after a little while, they ended up getting a button so that they could work with me. But I wanted to make sure that they watched the case study first. And so I had this button. I think I had it timed to come in. So let's check advanced. Yep. So at around the 15-minute and 42-second mark, the button fades in where they can apply for help. So you have that option to do that, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to test out this new sample page. So this one is it's a little bit more to design. Obviously the page is a little bit longer, but remember that you don't have to use all of this. We're gonna obviously want to change some of the colors, remembering that you're gonna change this to the colors for your brand. This is gonna be an image that you're gonna change. Maybe change this up or maybe leave it. I'm looking for a few more of my dream clients. I'm looking for clients who are like this, and then maybe include a little quote or whatever you'd like to do. Okay, this success stories link looks like it's probably just going to scroll down to success stories, and then there's a login button. So you might not need all of this. So let's see what we can play around with. So we do want to go ahead and put the case study right in here. So we'll click this video element and we'll go ahead and pop that URL in there. You can use a YouTube video, Vimeo, wherever you've recorded and saved your video. Okay? Remembering that this background is likely inside of here. So let's see. Background image is there and we can always paste it back in there. Okay, I'm not going to make any changes to this. I'm just going to show you how you could potentially make changes, and then I'll share this with you so you can make the changes that you'd like. Now, what's going to happen is they're watching the case study, and then you can either phase this button in or you can just leave it there to say, hey, you can apply now if you'd like to get some of these same results. You can change the color of the button, everything, once again, you can change. So if you'd like to change the color of the button, you can absolutely do that. I would recommend that you add a client testimonial. So this is what they've done here. And then this is really all you need from there. You don't need any of the rest of this. So if for some reason you don't have anything to fill into these sections, that's fine. Just click the settings bar and then just hide each of them. I recommend that you hide them instead of deleting them, because something that is really well designed, maybe you do want to come back later and you want to, you know, add some of these things to your page, like you'd like to feature your clients, and you know, you don't want to have to create this from scratch. So why not just hide it? It doesn't hurt to just hide those items, remembering that you can always come back and you can always unhide each of the sections, and that'll give you the opportunity to make the edits and make the changes. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this without saving. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab this case study video so I can see what it looks like on that edited page. So I will save that. And let's go ahead and click preview. And so what they'll do is they'll come to this page. It won't automatically play. Hi, and welcome. But once it does play, it's got the case study there. I recommend that you create a case study for one of your clients. Even if it's, you know, if you've got several clients, even if you can create just one case study and really break down how you helped that person, is really going to help for those people who want to work with you, but they're too scared because they're not even sure, well, how does this even work? And your case study people are sometimes some of your best clients because they're really good at seeing the steps, and they're willing to take those steps. So that's why you want to provide case studies for those people who really enjoy them. And so I recommend that you create at least one case study. All right, now notice on this one that we're also asking for their email address again. That's absolutely fine to request the email address again. If you don't want to because you already grabbed their email address so they can watch this case study, all you have to do is change the settings on this so that it goes to the next step in the funnel. It's as easy as that. You don't have to edit the pop-up. You just have to change it so that it goes to the next step in the funnel. And I'm actually going to save that because I recommend that that's what you do, since in this case, we've already gotten their email address. So I'm going to change the action so it goes to the next step in the funnel. And the next step in the funnel is going to be our application. Okay, before we get there, I'm going to archive this page. So I'm going to declare this one as the winner. And once again, if we want to change the URL, we're going to go ahead and change that by clicking the publishing tab. But I'm going to leave that for now since I've already shown you how to do that. All right, this is the next page, which is the fill out the application, and it's got this video, case study video. Actually, this is a testimonial video. So what we could do from that case study is we could take the testimonial that we've gotten from that client and we can put it on this page, or we can include another testimonial, video testimonial from a client. If you're not already getting video testimonials from your clients, please start as soon as possible. If you are doing coaching in the area where people are not comfortable being on video, then at least try to get an audio testimonial from them. Okay, so these are just input fields. So I'll show you how we change those. And I like the fact that this page is very, very short. Okay, so let's look at how we would change this page up. So let's go ahead and click edit. And once again, I'm not going to make too many changes to this. I'm actually not going to save any of my changes because I want you to be able to make the changes yourself. The button is going to submit the page. That's absolutely what we want. These are simply input fields. The thing that I want you to remember is that for these input fields, yes, they have options and we can grab these, but what I would recommend that you do at this point is add your own application using a Google form or using Typeform to put that in here. This looks really good because it's the native ClickFunnels options, but we've already gotten their email, their name, we've already gotten their email address, and this application is not necessarily exactly what we want our application to be like. So let's go ahead and just embed our own Typeform application or our own Google form. Okay. Once again, I would use the exact same testimonial here and then update and edit these things at the bottom. Always, always, always check the SEO metadata for each of your pages. You don't want it to be the default. You definitely don't want it to still say ClickFunnels, so remember that. Okay, now, last thing before we wrap this up. After they click to submit their application, we want to send them to our phone call booking system. The reason that we don't just want to use the application that you can attach to your phone call booking system is this. If for some reason they're not able to find a time on your calendar, then they never complete the application at all. What we want to do is we want to figure out who's interested. We want to capture their email address. We want to capture the fact that they're interested, and we want to get that application first. Then if for some reason one of the times doesn't work out for them, well, that's fine. We can always contact them and find a time that does work for them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to redirect them to our scheduler. You can also embed your scheduler directly in this page. And so that was what I mentioned earlier, that you have two different options for this. The reason that I have this as redirecting to the scheduler instead of having the scheduler embedded is because I was playing around with a couple different things with the Facebook pixel, and I'm not able to put the Facebook pixel onto the Acuity scheduling platform, the native platform. But I actually can also just embed my calendar right here. So you've got two options. You can either redirect them directly to your Acuity scheduling page, or you can just embed your calendar right in here. So if we want to redirect them, we've got a little countdown timer that has 3 seconds on it, and then we'll redirect them to the URL. Now, I'm actually going to take this out so that it doesn't redirect them to my calendar. And basically we're saying application submitted, and I'm going to remove this. Let's see if I can add a stock image in here. Batman, that's perfect. So we'll just put Batman up there and say application submitted, redirecting to booking page. Now that's option one. Option two, and I'm going to add a new section here. That way you can choose to keep whichever one works best for you. And I'm going to add a new row. I am going to add some text. I'm just going to say choose a time. Let's see, I'm going to show you how cool this is. So if I want each of the first letters capitalized for a text option, I just click here in advance, and then I say capitalize the first letter. I really like that. All right, I'm going to make the background of this section white. And we'll add a little margin there. Okay. In order to embed your calendar, you're just going to use this custom JavaScript HTML. You'll click it, open the code editor, and just paste your embed code right in there. Very simple. So you can choose what you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and save this. If you choose to redirect them with the link, remember that you just click this countdown timer and paste your link in right here where it says redirect URL. If you choose to embed your scheduler directly on the page, well, then you're going to end up deleting this section, and then you'll click to open that up, open the code editor, and paste in your code there. And that's it. Let's make sure that this SEO metadata still looks good. So application submitted. So now you've got your coaching client acquisition funnel. It starts with whatever your free item is. If it's a video case study, then use the video case study. If it's not, that's fine. All you have to do is on this page just say, hey, this is a PDF. And then on the thank you page, you'll deliver your PDF. And if you feel like you don't need this page, well, all you have to do is click the X like I did earlier, and then you can click OK, and it will delete that page. Remember, you have a lot of flexibility in here. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about your customer's journey. If they're going to apply for a coaching call with you, where are they coming from? Do they happen to come from your live stream series? And so they're going to this top domain link. Are you making it simple? Does it look crowded? Are they coming from a mobile device? Do they need to read all of this stuff before they actually sign up for your free item? So think about that first. Then think about, okay, once they get their free item, what's their next step? Remember that you want to capture that email. You want to be able to follow up via email, but you also want to make this process really simple. You don't need all of the fancy items. It doesn't need to look beautiful. When I first started booking clients, I didn't have a case study funnel. I had a one-page funnel that had an email submit, and on the second page, it was my calendar booking system. That was it. And after they booked a call on my calendar, then I sent them the link to the application because I didn't want anything in the way of getting people on the calendar booked with me. Then I realized that people weren't necessarily finding a good time for them, and so they weren't even making it to the application. That's when I switched things around. I sent them to the application first, and then I sent them off to book a call with me. There are a lot of things that I learned over the months and years of working on growing a coaching business, and that's why I want to share this with you. This is all really easy to do with ClickFunnels. Once again, I'm going to share this funnel link with you. If you watched the full guide of how to create an automated sales funnel, well, I actually shared with you the entire process, and there's a resource guide that's coming along with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this into the resource guide so you will have it there. It's also going to include that Coggle document, that mind map where I shared the actual training with you, and there's a couple more resources that I'm putting together that we'll have in there as well. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions on using ClickFunnels in order to create your coaching client acquisition funnel or any other landing pages that you'd like to create or membership areas or accepting payments or anything, please just drop me a line. I'm happy to help. You can go to my Facebook page and you can just send a message on private messenger there. My team has the job of sorting through those messages, and they assign to me any conversations that are asking questions specifically of me. So please go in there and ask your questions, any questions that you have. I hope this has been helpful. I can't wait to see the funnels that you create, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.